All right, for this lesson, you're going to need the sheet that says multiplying radicals. So far we've simplified radicals, we've added, subtracted radicals, and now today we're going to do some multiplying. So we see number one, this is square root of 5 multiplied by the quantity, so the parentheses, square root of 10 plus 3 times the square root of 2. Okay, so this is distributive property. So again, we draw our arrows going into both here. And what happens is this square root 5, since it's being multiplied, it comes underneath the root symbol with that square root of 10. Okay, now square root of 10, I know technically is 5 times 2. So when I piece all of these together, for this 5 here, you would have 5 times 5 times 2, or 2 times 5 times 5, however you want to say it. So I simplify, I circle my pair, out comes one of them. So when I multiply the square root of 5 times the square root of 10, it would have been the square root of 50, but the square root of 50 multiplies or simplifies to 5 root 2. Okay, now I take it to the back here, and when I take this square root 5 times this, you have this 3 out front, but there's no other number out here technically besides a 1. So these numbers would multiply together, 1 times 3, which just gives us that positive 3. Okay, and then underneath you have this square root of 5, and then being multiplied by this square root of 2, because again, you put the square root symbols, make a bigger one, and put both those numbers underneath. Those are lone factors. They don't, there's no pairs, so that means it gets multiplied together. So we end up with 3 root 10. Okay, and again, it doesn't really matter how you write it. You could have wrote 3 root 10 plus 5 root 2. But that's our final answer for that one. Okay, number 2, distribute this in. So you see the square root of 3 is being multiplied by this 4, but that 4, there's no radical symbol. That's just a whole number 4. So technically there's a 1. So the whole numbers multiply together. 1 times 4 is 4. And since there's no other radical symbol, that just root 3 gets slapped on there. And in the back, now you have this outside root 3 coming together with this inside root 3. And look what happens. That's technically the square root of 9. And we just bring out one of them. So you bring out 1. There's nothing left inside. So if I rewrite this, this is 4 root 3 plus 3, because that root symbol just falls away because there's no other factors left. Number 3, if I take the square root of 15, I multiply it in times that 3. Again, that's a whole number. So that's going to give me 3 root 15. 15, just breaks down to 5 times 3, so there's no double factors there. Now, it comes back here, and the square root of 15 being multiplied by this root 3. Well, I know the square root of 15 is 5 times 3 times 3. And then I have a pair of 3's, so out comes one of them. Okay, so out comes 1, it's positive, and then you have that root 5 there. So I know it's a little bit off there, but final answer is 3 root 15 plus 3 root 5. Number 4, okay, distribute. So I have this whole number multiplied by this whole number here. So 3 times 2 is going to give us this 6. And then that root 10, there's nothing to multiply with another root there. So it just goes there. You can't simplify root 10. Now we go to the back. 3 times negative 3, well, that's going to be a negative 9. Okay. Now, this root 10, I'm going to break it up already. So I know that's 5 times 2. And then multiply it with this one. Here's this 2. Okay, so here's my pair of 2's. Out comes one of them. Negative 9 times 2 is negative 18. And then I put the root symbol back with this lone 5 underneath. All right, so now we're going to go to a binomial, right? So we're going to do our FOIL method for this one. So here we go. Square root of 2 times the square root of 2. So those go underneath. And look what happens. You got a pair. Out comes one of them. So just a whole number of a 2. Okay, then back here, square root of 2 times negative 1. Well, that's just going to be your negative root 2. And then inside, negative 3 times root 2. Well, that's negative 3 root 2. And then last, negative 3 times negative 1. That's positive 3. So I see that I do have some like terms here. These are going to come together. That's technically a negative 1. So negative 1 root 2 minus 3 root 2 is negative 4 root 2. We also have this plus 3. But I still have like terms because I now have just two whole numbers. Okay, so this 2 plus the 3 gives us 5. So my final answer is negative 4 root 2 plus 5. And again, you could flip it around. 5 minus 4 root 2 is the exact same. Okay, number 6, multiply in. Negative 3 times 1. Let's put that as negative 3. Negative 3 times root 3. Okay, and then I have root 3 times 1, so plus root 3. And then root 3 times root 3. So you got 2 3's underneath. Okay, so this negative 3 just drops down. This is like a plus 1 root 3. So these two are like terms right here. So negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2 root 3. And then we have a pair. So out comes 1, and there's nothing left underneath. So that's just a positive 3. Okay, I still have like terms. Negative 3 plus 3, those will cancel themselves out. And all you're left with is just this piece right here. So my final answer is negative 2 root 3. Okay, number 7. We have negative 4 root 5 times root 5. So negative 4, and then here's for this root 5, and because of this one, I'm going to put that one underneath there. Okay, then I go to the back. So negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8. And then you had this root 5, and then you're multiplying by that root 2. Okay, then we're coming underneath this way. Negative 4 times technically a 1, so that's a negative 4. And you had a root 2 times a root 5. Okay, and then in the back, negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8. And you had this root 2, and then it combines with this root 2, like that. Okay, so we start cleaning things up here. Here's a pair of 5s, out comes 1. 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. 5 times 2, there's no common factors there, so that's just going to come together as 8 root 10. Back here, again, no common factors, so that gives you negative 4 root 10. And then back here, you got a pair of 2s. Out comes one of them. So 2 times 8 gives you 16. Okay, like terms, negative 20 and 16 gives you negative 4. And then 8 root 10 minus 4 root 10 gives you a positive 4 root 10. Okay, last problem together. So multiply this. 4 times negative 5 here for our whole numbers. That's going to give you negative 20. And then you got 2 root 5s. So this one here and that one there both go underneath. Okay, then I multiply to the back. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12, and then I have that root 5. Okay, the inner terms, negative 4 times negative 5 is positive 20, and then you had that root 5. And then the last terms, negative 4 times negative 3 is positive 12, and neither one of those have a root symbol. Okay, so this pairs up. Out comes one of them. 5 times negative 20 is negative 100. Okay, and then here's some like terms. So negative 12 plus 20 gives you 8 root 5. And then I have this plus 12 in the back. So combine this with that. That's going to give you a negative 88 plus 8 root 5. Okay, go into number 9, number 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18.